Let's welcome in Rob Parker, who, of course, has a new book, Tales of Rob Parker's Urinating Mouse, a collection of tweets. Is that a real book?
It's a real book, Doug. It's actually a lot fun. It's a fun read on Amazon.com. It's fun.
Of course, this comes from Rob Parker tweeting about it's so quiet you could hear a mouse urinating wherever something goes bad. What's your opinion of? And I know you have an affinity for Isiah Thomas. You covered him when you worked for a long time in Detroit, a place you still call kind of your home away from your New York home where you grew up. I'm wondering what your thoughts are on the revelation, not revelation to most people, but that Jordan lied in the documentary and was not honest about keeping Isiah off the Dream Team.
This is the part I don't understand. Is Michael Jordan is that guy. You know this, Doug. He's nobody else. You can go and say, well, Larry Bird didn't like him, Magic didn't like him. There was only one guy who could keep Isiah off that team, and that was Michael Jordan. So I don't understand why in calling out Scottie Pippen in the documentary, he was selfish when he got surgery. Hey, Horace Grant was a rat. He gave sports writer Sam Smith all the information for the Jordan Rules book. He said all this on camera. He called Isiah an a-hole on camera. So why is he so coy and was so afraid to just own up to it, be the boss? It's a punk move not to own up to it, Doug, and say, you know what? I didn't want Isiah to play. Here's the reasons why. And the Dream Team had to pick me or him, and they picked me. I'd have more respect if he said that than, well, if you want to put it on me, go ahead, put it on me. And then the tape to come out. Everybody knows that's how it went down. Everybody, you know that.
No, but the tape that came out said that Chuck Daly didn't want him on the team either, right? So
yeah, but
he's willing to accept. But hold on, he's willing to accept some sort of responsibility. But I also think that, look, if he says here's the way it really went down, Magic didn't like him, Bird didn't like him, Chuck Daly's own coach didn't want him on the team. Like, come on, man, I'm not the only dude. And yeah, I didn't want him there. Instead, he made it pretty obvious, and he kind of, as you said, passively accepted responsibility.
Only problem I have here is, I know everybody loves to throw Chuck Daly out there. He's passed. He can't answer for himself. But I'm going to say this. Jack McCloskey was also the general manager of the Dream Team, who happened to be the Pistons general manager at the time. He resigned his post after he realized what was going to happen to Isiah because it was wrong. And Doug, you know this, I know it. We all work with people we don't like, we'd never have a meal with, would never invite to your home. But it doesn't mean that you can't work together on something that was earned. Isiah, a top 50 player of all time. Isiah, a Hall of Famer. Isiah was on the Olympic team in 1980 that boycotted because of Russia back then, so he didn't play in that one. This is a guy who earned his way on that team, and I'm not buying a team chemistry argument either, because I'm sorry, to beat Angola by 40 points, they could have put any squad together. Isiah deserved to be on that team, and just Jordan should fess up to it. That's all.
You're actually kind of contradicting yourself there, Rob.
I'm not.
Right? No, look, if you say anybody could have beaten them, I agree. Anybody. But it was about them getting along. It was about, and I'm sure. And look, Chuck Daly may not have not wanted Isiah because he knew it would upset Jordan and Bird and Magic, and that could be part of Chuck going like, I know that's not going to work, so let's just not go there. And by the way, Jack McCallum, when I interviewed him yesterday for my All Ball podcast, he did not say that's why. McCluskey resigned. That's not what happened. That he said he didn't think he belonged on the team either. So
that's not. Well, he was on my show on The Odd Couple, and he said that his knowledge of it was a little fuzzy and not as clear as mine. Jack McCloskey resigned in protest over Isiah.
Listen, I take it as, here's how I took it. Jordan said it right. Winning has a price. It does, right? And for Bird, it was his body. His body broke down. For Jordan, it was, he was not able to have the normal relationships. He became this superstar. He became this super driven guy to win more. He got the taste of blood, and that was the only thing that he could search for, is more victims of his venom. For Isiah, the way they won, the way they had to be successful was being the baddest badasses on the block, right? And they were. And they intimidated much of the league. And for 2 years, they were champions, and they were the bad boys. But winning has its price. And for that, for the bridges that he burned, and he burned a lot of them, the price was the dream team. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, I just don't follow that because Tim Duncan didn't have to win that way. Tim Duncan is a Ray Allen miracle 3 away from being 6-0 like Michael Jordan during his career. He wore flip-flops and was the nicest guy on the block. Everybody's different, Doug. I don't believe that Michael Jordan's way is the only way to win. Tim Duncan was able to win in the NBA being totally different from every other guy who played basketball in that league. It's different ways for different people. That's what he chose. And I don't have an issue. He's the greatest player I ever saw. I covered Michael Jordan. I was covering the NBA back during those years. I was in Cleveland for that shot against Craig Elo. I was in Detroit for the migraine shot game. I was around a lot, but I'm still saying all I'm saying is for Michael to own up to it. I don't believe – I'm not saying that there weren't other people that had issues with Isiah, but I don't believe Larry Bird would have not played on the Dream Team if Isiah was on it. I don't believe that Scottie Pippen would have said, oh, I'm out, or any other player. This was about Michael Jordan, and just call it what it is.
Yeah, and listen, I'm a little surprised that he didn't. I'm more than surprised he didn't step up and just go, yeah, I didn't want him on the team. Nobody liked him. I didn't like him. I didn't want him on the team. I don't know why. I don't know why he didn't do it. He did the passive aggressive. You want to blame me, whatever. It was never brought up to his name was never brought up. And then obviously there's tape of him having it brought up to him. Rob Parker, our guest in the Doug Gottlieb Show on Fox Sports Radio. The podcast is called Inside the Parker. Why won't baseball players just suck it up and go back to work?
Because that's not how they're made, and I get it. They've sacrificed for a long time. They fought the owners through collusion. Do you remember that, when the owners colluded against them? There's just been a long history of mistrust. I will say this. There's been 26 years of labor peace in baseball, so I'm not going to bash either side. I get it. These are uncharted waters. The players don't want to just sign up and go, oh, yeah, we'll do whatever it takes, and sign up for something that they're not going to be happy with. And the owners have to do. I'm not knocking the owners. It's not a regular year. No fans, no parking, no concessions, no merchandise at stadium. That's a lot of money that's going to be lost. They'll figure it out. And they have time to get there so that we can have baseball come July 4th. I don't believe either side wants no baseball for 18 months. It would damage the game more, Doug, than 1994 when we didn't have a World Series.
Yeah, no, listen, if I'm them, I do anything I can to get back out in the field and extend. Take a listen to what Jason Stark, who you and I have worked with before, now works for The Athletic, what he had to say about what the players are looking at.
I don't think it's going to be a great year to be a free agent, no matter what. You know, Mookie's been dreaming those $400 million contract dreams. I might be trying to revise that dream, but that is one more reason they have to get this done. Is you've got to try to salvage the future. You need to put in place protection for next year, protection for free agents, protection for all the players that don't have a contract for next year, which is most of them. Everybody's going to lose money this year, but there have to be protections in whatever deal gets done for the group that doesn't have a contract for next year, including the big free agents and the little ones.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, it's interesting.
He's spot
it's like
on. He's spot on.
They're trying to protect themselves against for their next CBA. Right. On the other hand, by protecting themselves, you could actually end up hurting yourselves even more.
No doubt about it. That's why it's very, very important for baseball and for the Players Union, because if you damage the game here, there will be no Mookie Betts $400 million contract when he's a free agent with the Dodgers. You know what I mean? So you could kiss all that goodbye, and you've seen the riches. Baseball's an $11 billion business. Doug, you know this. On television, the biggest moneymaker are live events. Everybody else can watch all the other stuff whenever they want, binge watch, right? We still, the only appointment television we have is sports on television. That's why baseball still makes so much money.
Rob Parker, our guest on the Doug Gottlieb Show on Fox Sports Radio. What do you think about the NBA not coming back till late July and playing games in August and September?
I'm calling it the Mickey Mouse Championship in Orlando. I don't know. I guess they got to make sure that people are right, Doug. You've played basketball on a high level. Get people back. It's been a 2 or 3 month layoff, right? It'll wind up being something like that. So I guess you can't rush people back. You have a chance of people getting injured. And I agree with them about just going straight to the playoffs. I don't think playing the last 7 or 8 regular season games kind of in that format and bringing all the teams together, teams that are out of it, why even bother? I think you should just go with your 16 playoff teams and try to play it as close to the situations that you've always had, the best out of 7, so that you have a legitimate championship. You don't want to, monkey with it too much, Doug, so that people look at it sideways and say, well, they won the championship, but that was kind of flaky, or that wasn't real, or they didn't really go through the same test that all the other champions went through. So that's the hard part, is making sure that you don't delegitimize it.
Awesome stuff. Rob Parker, check him out on The Odd Couple. That show starts at 7 Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific. And, of course, you need to buy his new book, Tales of Rob Parker's Urinating Mouse, a collection of tweets. The one and only Rob Parker. Rob, great stuff, man.
All right, Doug. Appreciate it, as always, bud.